What's up, everyone? Welcome to Untitled Nerd Show, bringing you all the nerdiest discussions on all the nerdy news. I am AD. I will be joined by Tara in a few minutes, hopefully, and we're here with Nerdy Farmer as always.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Well, Nerdy, what do we want to open up with?
All right, well, we got a plethora of fun and, in my opinion, huge news stories today, and we're also going to be covering AD's review of the most epic, awesome, amazing
guys?
game of the year, Fast and Furious. So
10 out of 10. Spoilers, 10 out of 10.
We're gonna break that down for you guys, so it'll be fun. Hey, how you doing, Kaz? What
do you mean he's in a cave?
Why is there in a cave? Am I echoing?
Is he echoey? Coming through the same speaker.
Since I was echoing.
He was echoing.
Like a reverb. I don't think I'm echoing anymore.
Maybe it's when he got louder.
Maybe. Alright, we'll keep an eye on it.
Maybe it was picking up on the mic.
No, I won't be as loud. But anyway, lots of stories, lots of interesting things. But we're gonna open up with our smaller stories today, until Tara gets here, because we got some neat stuff. So the first thing we're going to open up with, I think, is the EA shareholders thing. We were talking about this right before the stream. Leroy shared something about this on General Chat. So the EA shareholders voted with a 74% no to give the EA executives a pay raise or their big bonus they get and all that fun stuff. You dive into the story a little bit more. Basically, the shareholders are like, "Hey, EA, you've been fucking up. The company itself has gotten a bad rap. You guys are putting out crappy games, especially the sports games that aren't really getting customer appeal. It's negative. All we're getting is negative." So the shareholders said, "No money for you." Now, if you delve deeper into this, just because the shareholders said no does not mean that EA executives won't give themselves money anyway.
Yeah.
The shareholders don't really hold any power in other than the fact that they can say, okay, fine, well, we're taking our shares and selling them and going elsewhere. So take from that what you want. A win, maybe. So EA CEOs are maybe starting to receive some backlash that's actually good. Backlash. Is that backlash that's going to be effective in getting them to change their practices? I don't think it's going to. AD, you have a thought on that?
So when you say good backlash, you mean good as in potentially good?
Yes, but potentially in the sense that maybe if they start getting hit in their wallet more, especially the big CEOs, then maybe they'll stop being douche canoes with their practices.
I don't know. I always think this type of business stuff is stupid. I never like to get into like capitalism and all this bullshit.
I don't know. Where's Leroy? You said capitalism.
People suck. That's basically what I say.
Well, I mean, but you enjoy a good game, and you, just like most of the gaming community, can admit that EA, especially in their sports games, become pretty predatory.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to see them rein that back. And I think this might be the first real step, other than, the steps that we're seeing on the legal side, where they're basically being told loot boxes are bad, and people are saying that, you can't have loot boxes on the legal aspect from like Great Britain and some of the states in the United States. And EA is fighting that, saying it's not a loot box or gambling, it's a surprise mechanic. So yeah. I would love to. Now they're starting to get hit in the pocket, a little bit in the wallet, by the shareholders saying no. We might be seeing some real change in EA's practices, we might see the beginnings of that. And I would like to see that. I don't play sports games, but I hate hearing these stories and reading these stories of people with, teenagers or even children who are spending thousands of dollars of their parents' hard-earned money, on these stupid games, for no reason other than the fact that, one, the parents are dumb enough to give them their credit card, and two, these companies are just predatory in that sense. So I think it's a good step, but it's nowhere near what we need.
Yeah, I used to play sports games, but yeah, it's just the way that it's gotten with all of this fucking, like you said, predatory bullshit and just microtransactions to fucking hell.
I mean, you gotta spend money to change the haircut on your character or play thousands of hours.
Yeah.
And it's just not feasible for a lot of people. So these people just spend tons of money for something that's going to be outdated in a year. Because, you got to remember, too, their sports games are yearly releases.
Hey, Tara's here.
Yay, Tara's here.
Hi, Nerdy. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm sleepy.
We stayed up longer than we should have.
We were unsupervised, and so we stayed up all night. It was exactly like when I was a kid and my parents would go out of town.
The adults were gone and we just didn't know what to do, so we did everything.
Exactly.
I mean, and I even told you guys when I left your stream last night, remember, we got to start at this time.
I know. I know.
Gosh.
I know.
All right, well, sorry to give you an update. We were just talking about how EA shareholders said no to giving their CEOs a multi-million dollar pay raise.
Good for them.
That's what we've come to the conclusion of. Good for them. All right. Well, now that Tara's here, we can bite into one of our juicier topics. Do you guys want to start?
I was gonna mention real quick, since we were on the topic of sports games. Did you hear that apparently other companies are coming out now after NBA 2K21? Other companies are saying, no, we're not raising our games to $70.
Really? No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
so
I think Ubisoft was one of the bigger ones. And yeah, they're like, yeah, next gen games are still gonna be $60. And then
How long do you think that's actually going to last? Though both you and I predicted that this is what the normal revolution was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting it, but I'm not surprised that it was going to happen.
Like they said, never, or just not right now.
They just said not right now.
Oh, okay.
Because like the new,
that's a bold statement.
yeah, because the new NBA game that was supposed to come out in the next generation of consoles was like the first game to come out with its price tag, and they tried to set the standard of all those games being $70. But then other people are saying no, we're staying at 60.
So this might be a noob. Well, it might be a topic for another day, but I'm curious on those games where they're actually modeling real athletes. Do those athletes have to like sign off on that? Or do they get compensated?
You have to have their permission to use their likeness.
Absolutely, yeah. So, like for example, if they do NBA, they have to have permission to put the NBA and the NBA logos and the team logos in the game. And then in order to use the players, there's actually for NFL, I know there's one. I think for NBA one. So there's like an NBA Players Association. They have to have the NBA Players Association sign off on that, and then if they're really, portraying specific players, they have to, that association has to go out to those players and get them to agree to it also. So they're basically paying licensing for NBA and the teams, and then paying licensing again for the players specifically.
Yeah, that's true, cause it's not always the individual player. Sometimes it's just in the contract. But yeah, if you go back to like games in the 90s, like You didn't see Michael Jordan in a lot of games.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Yeah, because he didn't.
It was just generic, white guy,
Player 23.
generic brown
Player
guy.
23.
23.
Yeah.
That's what you should have gone with.
Yeah.
Okay, follow-up question to that. What about the and this is a very specific question, but I just remember there being my cousins playing a college football video game. Did those players get paid?
I
don't think they can because of UIL. It was like UCAA or something like that. I can't remember what the game was.
Sorry, I will have to do research on that. I honestly don't have an answer for you because you're right.
She stumped us.
In order to play for college, you're not allowed to get paid to play for...
Okay, there was a huge thing about it. Maybe that's why I'm remembering this, that there was like some kind of controversy about how they shouldn't be making money off of players who can't be compensated because of rules.
See, that's something I remember back years and years ago that was a thing where they talked about it. Because that's true. These players have merchandise, and these players have, they're on TV, and these colleges are making tons of money off of them, but they're not compensating their players.
Like, I bet you A&M. Now, I'm not defending this particular player, but I'm just saying I bet A&M made a mint off of Johnny Manziel while he was there.
Sure.
As an example.
Yeah. I have no idea who you're talking about, but I'm sure that's a big player. So
Johnny Football. Sure.
He wasn't a big player. He was a big shit.
He was a famous player, not a...
He was a famous player in college, but he just fucked himself over in the pros.
He got drafted by the Browns.
Okay.
Anyway.
Gotcha.
That's I only know... Well, I forget people outside of Texas. He probably wasn't that big of a deal, too.
Yeah.
Well, is there a college game?
There used to be, because my cousins played it.
Yeah, there used to be NCAA football or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe they stopped doing that because of this. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't mean to derail us. I just...
No. It wasn't a derail. It was a good question. I honestly don't know.
My head was spinning.
Homework.
See, Cosmos, I'm English, and I have no fucking idea what you lot are saying.
Yes, we are talking about American hand egg sport.
I've never heard it called that before.
The American hand egg sport.
I'm sorry, cause you got to realize I grew up in Europe, so when I say football, I mean American football. When I say football, I mean soccer.
That's a good, yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. But talking of money and monetary stuff, you want me to swing into mine, and then you want me to? Well, you do use your feet.
Yeah, for one fucking part of the game, you use your feet.
Well, and that's usually just one player that's barely on the team.
Wait. No, you do the kickoff, you have the punts, and then you have your field goals. There's 3 times you use your feet.
Every football team has one designated actual footballer.
Yep.
But the reason why it's called football, I think, is because the hand egg is actually a foot long. The original one was a foot long.
Well, that's just stupid. But,
upset that I just learned that.
No, but like soccer...
And also, you want to know why that's extra stupid to the rest of the world? Because they're like, what's a foot? Do you mean a strange meter? Meter ball.
Cosmos is what we're talking about because he's from, Britain. They use the same system we do. Feet and inches and stuff.
Oh, do they?
What?
I thought that was just American.
No, they still use it. I'm pretty sure they still use it.
Do they?
Oh.
See, Cos, just you.
It's okay. We'll just be...
It's the king's foot.
So we'll all just be idiots. We'll all just be idiots together with our stupid...
We gave you democracy.
We gave you democracy. Oh, you're right. We are a bunch of ungrateful rats.
You also gave us English, and look what we did with that.
Right.
Right. Oh my goodness. Totally destroyed it.
And we dumped your perfectly good tea right in the ocean.
How's that independence working out for you?
Can I
Well,
get a what would it be? Like a posthumous English citizenship? Can I
you know
switch?
what? If I could keep my firearms and my farm and just pick up everything and transplant to England, I would do it.
Yeah.
I'd do it. And now you're talking with a nail gun. That's a great analogy. No guns?
No guns.
Toddler with a nail gun.
I don't. Shocker, less gun crime because people don't have guns. Yeah, but because don't you guys have more stabbing crimes there?
Oh, I would much rather be shot than stabbed. I feel like stabbed takes forever. It has to go all the way in and all the way out.
Yeah, but
I
you
don't want to be
can
stabbed.
see a stab come faster than,
I mean, that's true.
unless it's like a shank.
You can walk off a stab. It depends on what you're getting stabbed with. You can walk off of being shot too. Trust me.
Oh.
I'm just saying. We're not gonna get into that though. We're gonna get that. I actually visited.
You can dodge a
Great
bullet. You
Britain.
can dodge a knife.
You can block a knife. Yeah. Can you dodge a bullet? I mean,
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
I mean, we can get into the actual medical, technicalities of a stab wound versus a gunshot wound. To be entirely honest,
Hey,
they
let's
both
not.
are bad. They both are bad for specific different reasons.
I guess
But
that
when you get into actual what can do more damage to your body, the typical caliber of bullet that people are going to use, like a 9mm, isn't going to do as much damage as unless it hits like a major artery or your head or your heart. Isn't going to do nearly as much damage to muscle and small tissue as a stab wound is going to do from your typical normal stabby knife.
Okay,
So,
but I'm gonna be.
shows more confidence.
I'm with you, Kaz, on the. It doesn't take as much effort to shoot someone. I at least feel like you put in some work to hurt me.
So as long as at least if you get stabbed by someone, you can respect the person more.
you look them in the eye and be like, "I respect you." I mean, if a guy wants to walk up to me and stab you, I mean, hey, that's
I guess I did something wrong.
That's true.
Okay.
That checks out.
But you guys outlawed guns. What about crossbows
What about what?
and bow and arrows? You could have
fuck
a
some
mass
shit up with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, man.
That's a very Kentucky thing for
I
you
would
to say.
love to see somebody just out on the street and they get pissed off and pull out a bow and arrow.
Tara, I actually have a crossbow hanging in my closet.
Yeah.
I hunt with it.
Just
That's-
why
I
don't,
knew.
why
You're
don't you
from the
walk
South.
around with it strapped to your back every day?
Yes.
So, all right. So let's move on to the next topic. We were talking about money. Do you want me to hop into the Apple Epic battle?
Oh.
AD?
Oh.
Do you want to hop into
Do
that?
tell.
Well, let's talk about Apple and Epic. We talked about it last week briefly about how Epic was calling out Apple for doing some really scummy practices. I don't know if you were here last weekend. Were you?
I wasn't.
No.
All right, so I'll give you a backstory on that one. What Apple was doing was there were a bunch of app owners, I think a workout app and some educational apps and everything, who were originally monetized and said, hey, look, we're giving you our app for free because of the pandemic and people can't get to the gym and stuff. So you take our app for free for a while so you guys can work out and stay healthy at home. It's great until Apple went to them and said, where's our money? We want our 30%. And they're like, we're giving it to you for free. He's like, no, they're like, we want our 30% of the original posted price. Which is scummy as hell. Yeah, which is scummy as hell, but apparently is how the Apple iOS store works. So
That doesn't surprise me. But
Epic called them out. See, I like Epic because Epic's been kind of the poster child here in the last year or two of, hey, these platforms are taking way too much money from these developers. For example, Steam takes 30% of anything that they make on their platform from the developer, which is obscene. 30% is like your entire profit margin for a lot of, games and or companies and stuff like that. So Epic only, in retrospect, only takes 12. So they're calling out these people. So CEO Sweeney, right? Mark Sweeney. I always want to say Sweeney Todd, but it's not Todd Sweeney, whatever his name is. I think it's the last name Sweeney.
Sweeney Todd. That's a
It's
movie.
totally Sweeney Todd. He makes people into meat pies.
Tim Sweeney, thank you. Tim Sweeney called them out and said,
close.
It was almost Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He called them out and said, "That's bullshit. Don't do that." So they took it to the next step. And I've got 2 videos I need you to play. AD, play the first one for our viewers and for Tara, and then we'll play the second one, and then we'll explain, because it gave me goosebumps seeing them side by side.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the information purification directives.
Okay, so this first video is from 1984. It was the original release of the Apple Macintosh computer.
Where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests, obeying
Oh, it's in reference to the book 1984.
Just watch, yeah. I'm a few seconds behind. Let me know when the video is done for you guys.
There's a woman with a hammer
one cause.
being chased by dudes. Swings the hammer.
Giving me Nancy Kerrigan vibes.
I love the swoosh it makes,
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Wait, so what's the book about? Is that something we can get into?
The book is about, it's a dystopian look into the future, where basically the people are controlled by
the government.
They're ever present. There's wiretaps in every home. Alexa.
It's
like now.
It's a very dystopian authoritarian system that's going on in the boat. Okay, so now play the second video. So that was the first video when Apple released their Macintosh.
The violinist thing?
I don't know. It wasn't a violinist. It was
Because the link I opened. Let me open it again.
1980 Fortnite.
Oh, you know what happened? The video probably played while I wasn't looking, and then it switched to another fucking video.
Okay, yeah. So go ahead and play this video. It's so good. Gave me goosebumps.
Play bitch.
Loading.
Play bitch.
Loading.
Do you have to buffer the entire video before you play?
Yeah.
I ain't restarting my device.
Oh my
bitch.
god, do you have any idea what that would take right now, YouTube? Don't get snarky.
It doesn't. What? Is there another version of this?
I mean, it's the YouTube version. It's both from you. Try just refreshing that page.
If playback doesn't begin
It totally
shortly.
did.
Yeah, I hit refresh.
Oh, it's loading the whole game.
Let's see what happens.
The whole video.
It's all loaded. It's already all loaded. Oops.
Look what you did. Oh my god.
Wait, they actually... Why?
In exchange, we have taken our tribute.
Yes. Rainbow unicorn.
So this is Epic's shot at Apple, huh?
We shall prevail.
Oh, wow. It is so blatant. That is so blatant. They even got a message and everything.
Shots fired. Well, yeah, they had this planned. That took like animation and shit.
So, like, every time I see this, it gives me goosebumps because this is them. This is Tim Sweeney taking the fight to the big boys. So what actually happened is, and this came out 4 hours after they were taken off Apple, iOS, and Google. By the way, Google took them off too. Google Android, Google Play, no
Wait.
longer.
What?
Yep.
But
Google Play
Google's
took 'em off.
supposed to be like Apple's the evil empire, and like
Google's the less
the
evil
rebellion. You know what I mean? Like,
Nope. Google Play took them off too. Nerdy, he is the big boys. Don't make Epic the underdog. Epic compared to Apple is still the underdog. Let's be very clear. Epic broke terms of service. Yes, they knew they were breaking terms of service, but they were doing it on purpose to prove a point.
It was in the name of
that
justice.
And that terms of service is that terms of service isn't equally.
Wait. Which part was them breaking terms of service?
So what they did is, here's what Epic's been doing since the pandemic. They have offered a 20% discount on their V-Bucks. Okay, you can see the correlation here versus what I told you about the other apps. They've offered a 20% discount. Now, Apple was still expecting their full 30% from the original posted pricing. Okay, and Tim Sweeney was like, "No, this is not okay." So he broke terms of service basically, and put in a way for them to circumvent the Apple iOS store and have direct purchases in the app.
Oh.
Okay.
That's what Warner Brother does with all their games.
Which, let me be clear, meant that Epic was pocketing an extra 10%.
Yeah.
Like I'm being clear, they were pocketing an extra 10%.
Well,
because they're only offering a 20% discount. Because they did that, Apple removed them from the iOS service, and because they did it, and it also was on the Google side too. Google removed it from the Uplay, is it Google Play? Uplay?
Yeah, Google Play.
Google Play from their Android devices, so you can't play any of the new. You can't play Fortnite basically on your mobile devices.
Can I just go on the record as saying I didn't know you could in the first place? I thought it was a console game.
Seems like hard. That seems difficult to play on a mobile device.
But anyway, proceed.
But yeah, so they're taking them to court. They're going head to head, and think what you want about Epic. You know, a lot of people give Epic a hard time for one reason or the other. In my opinion, Epic is the good guy in this. 100% the good guy. They may have broken the rules, but it's one of those things, like the old saying goes, break the rules for the good reason. So
they're Batman.
Yeah, they're playing the role of Batman basically, because I don't support what Apple's doing. Not only, and here's even more fuel for the fire. There are a bunch of other companies who are coming out and saying that Apple isn't even applying the rules equally across the board. There's another internet company or email company that has been on Apple for a little while, who has basically said our competitor is Gmail. I think it is. They're trying to compete with that, and what they're offering a subscription service. Well, they have the app on the store, but they have the subscription. You have to go outside the app to get the subscription. iOS saying, no, you can't do that. But at the same time, and I had to think about this and actually go test it, if you open up your Amazon Prime, your Prime Video on your Apple iPhone, if you have one, or any Apple or any mobile device, if you try to buy a movie on there, you can't. You have to go to the actual Amazon website and purchase the video there to play it on another device, anywhere there's an app. So they circumvent that 30% cut, but hey, Apple's not going after Amazon. You know
what else is like that? And this is I'm gonna date myself here because nobody uses these anymore now that everybody has like iPads and shit. But the Kindle and the Nook have apps that, so if you don't have a Kindle or Nook device, you can download the Kindle or Nook app on your phone or your tablet or whatever, and still access your library. But if you want to add a book to your library, you can't purchase through the app. You have to go to barnesandnoble.com or Amazon and purchase the ebook, and then you can download it to your app.
Right. And
so that it's a common model.
Netflix is the same way. You can't actually purchase the Netflix app or purchase a subscription through the app. You've got to go to the website.
Now,
and
there was one of my streaming services that I used to get through Apple. Maybe it wasn't Netflix. Maybe it was Hulu. But I would get an iTunes bill for it.
Yeah, you can't do that with Netflix, from what I understand. But see, and that's the problem. Apple is taking advantage of these smaller companies and not equally applying the rules to everybody. Cause says, but Nerdy, they are breaking the rules to make more money. They don't care about the consumer. I completely disagree with that statement. Cause I really do. Because Tim Sweeney has been on the forefront with his Epic Games Store trying to help the publisher, help the developers so much. Steam has been the main distributor of video games on PC for countless years. And Valve takes 30%, which has become, for some strange reason, the market standard. 30%. Think about that. That's literally your profit margins. So there's a lot of smaller developers out there who are literally not making any profit. They're just paying their bills and their expenses to put their games on these platforms to get their names out there to hopefully grow so they can make profit. That's the problem.
So I have a hybrid opinion here. And what I mean by that is I think what both of you are saying can be simultaneously true. I think that I would be willing to give this Sweeney Todd character a benefit of the doubt and say that he is trying to do something for his community, his audience, whatever. But I think the way he's able to pull it off is he's able to, like Kaz is saying, that's how he's able to swing it to his shareholders to get support to go through with this. You know what I mean? Like it's a win-win.
Are they actually the good guys, or are they just doing it less evil?
That was what I was going to say. I think I would think they're the good guys is a stretch, just because any company that's publicly traded, I'm skeptical.
I think they're more of the good guys. I mean, I can see your point of view. It's an ambiguously gray zone.
I think they're the less bad guys.
I think the thing is though that, because Kaz says, why don't they offer more of a discount? I think the issue is not that they should offer more of a discount, is that the consumers expect, hey, if you're offering a 12%, then I should pay, what's 30 minus 12 is 18%. I should pay 18% less for my game. No, the whole concept of this is that extra 18% goes back to the developers so they can make you more games or support the game longer. So yeah, the consumer doesn't see it as money in their pocket, but they see it as more and better quality games and better supported games over time. Versus when they're taking 30%, they possibly can't do that. So I'm
curious, and this is probably...
What's up, Hell Things? You got something to say, or...
A lot of mustache. A lot of mustache emoji. Anyway.
I wish like that.
Man, the mustaches made me lose my train of thought. This may be a detail that doesn't matter, but I'm curious because so I go into the App Store, whether it's iTunes or Google Play, and I use the card that I have on file with that store to purchase an app. That is processed by, we'll say, iTunes. that money, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't Apple be taking their cut before they pay the actual app owner? Since
Yes.
Apple is so how did this come about? Were they already taking a full 30%? Like,
What? So are you talking about when
I'm talking
they
about the
started-
discount.
Oh, when they're doing the discount thing and everything? Yeah. So when people put stuff in the iOS store. So for example, I had to do a little research on this. I wasn't too
So
familiar
really,
with
they
that.
were taking a 50% cut because 20% discount, paying 30% to Apple. So really, they were only getting half of what they would have gotten for their app.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, and
that sucks.
here's the crazy scummy thing is if you go back to that app who is offering it for free to people, well, every single purchase was going through the Apple iStore, and then the Apple was charging this developer what they would have made off of the 30% of the original posted price that they agreed upon when they put it on the iOS.
Yeah, and see, what I think is, and this is one of those situations that from being in business, I feel like, did they give Apple a chance to partner with them on this? Did they go to them and say, hey, we want to, we're in a fucking World War Z. We're going to do a discount. Can we renegotiate our agreement? Or did they just spring this on Apple and Apple's like, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm just curious. Like, I feel like there might be a lot of like they're saying, hey, you didn't come to us and ask for us to change our contract that we'd already agreed upon. Because surely you have to sign something to hand your app over. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying it's not scummy that Apple was like, no, fuck you, pay me.
I get what you're saying, but you own the app. So like when you like, for example, you put a game on Steam or Epic, they don't own it. They have no rights to the game. They just have the rights to, I guess, distribution rights versus ownership rights, I guess is what you could look at it. The game is still yours. So if you decide to charge less for it because, the world is going to hell, that's your choice. I don't see like how.
Well,
like if
I see what your point is, but it's like, in essence, so in a typical store, like let's say I'm selling of the video game, like the physical game of Fortnite. What typically happens is like if they sell it at Walmart, which I don't know if they do, whatever store, that store buys it from the company and then they can sell it for whatever they want, right? Because they own those products.
Yes.
I feel like in this situation, they're more of like like an Amazon scenario, right? Where it's like, we are going to provide a platform for you to purchase this stuff that we don't personally produce or own.
Okay.
So they're more like a processor, like when you have a merchant account, you pay every time you swipe someone's credit card, you pay 2.75% or whatever.
Okay.
That processor company doesn't give a shit what you are charging or discounting or what. They want their 2.75% that was agreed upon every time you swipe your card. So I can, from that perspective, kind of see, although we're talking about, there's a huge difference between 2.75% and 30%. I will totally level with that.
Well, but see, that's the thing. There was no, like, if say, for example, you go and you buy something with that card at that store, okay? If you're getting the item for free, there is no swiping. There is no transaction. So there shouldn't be any transaction fee. So the same concept should be applied to what they're doing with these apps that are trying to give the stuff away for free. Is that, hey, there's no transaction, so why are you expecting us to pay 30% of what it originally was priced at?
So now I have so many more questions about how app stores work. Like,
and that's hard to do. App stores or storefronts in general are hard to understand. But my whole thing is if you're going to charge 30%, it should be 30% of the amount charged.
sure.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
So if a company says, I'm going to give away this app for free for the period of a month during the pandemic, then the Apple or Steam or Epic or whoever's doing it shouldn't expect their percentage of the original price. It should be the percentage of what they're charging during that time period. So if they say it's free, we're not getting any percentage.
Getting 30% of zero.
You know that iTunes like terms of service that we all agree to that nobody's ever read? It's probably in there.
No, I read it.
It also says that you owe them your soul, and if you're a male, your left testicle.
Yes.
Appa, if you're listening, I did read it, just for the record. I read it. I read all of it.
Oh.
So my questions, and we don't have to, obviously this will be homework for later, but my question is, so now I'm wondering how Apple benefits from free apps. Like who...
Advertising.
So the advertising, right? So
yeah,
then
so there's
I'm
advertising revenue off of that.
So then I'm asking, like, do apps live on a server with Apple that they then facilitate the download? Like, what does that look like? So is Apple losing anything by that app going from a price to free?
That's what I was going to say. It's a different situation from like Walmart, where they have to actually buy the physical product to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apple is basically in this situation, Apple is basically just an e-commerce site.
Yeah.
Like you have all the products, it's your job to like ship it out or whatever. It's like our shit with 22Kill.
Yeah.
Like we use the e-commerce, we use Shopify, and whatever we sell through there, they get a percentage of. But like, if we don't sell anything through there, or if we give away everything through it, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's like if you sell a product using our platform, then we get a percentage. But if you just give away products using our platform, we don't give a shit.
Yeah, and I think the key or the true middle ground here is that it should have been 30% of whatever the price is.
Yeah, so it should have been
not a set amount.
Based on what the contract should have been, they should be getting 30% of zero.
But I'm sure the contract for this argument to have gotten this far, I'm sure their contract said a certain amount rather than a percentage, because Apple is corporate America.
Evil.
Well, and that's one of the arguments Tim Sweeney's making in his court case, is that they have created a quote unquote monopoly to put anything out on these mobile devices. So there's no other person, because Apple or iOS will not allow you to have any other storefronts on their program. You have to go through iOS. And Tim Sweeney's saying, like, no, you either offer other people options, or you offer us the ability to renegotiate our contracts. Because Apple put out a statement. Let me see if I can't find it. Apple confirms. Hold on. No, that's another part of this. Is it on this one? No, not this one.
AD, play some hold music.
But then we'll get freaking flagged.
Oh.
Just
make up your own hold music.
Just hum the tune that's in your heart.
Yes.
All right, let's see. I can't find it.
That sounded really familiar.
Basically, Apple said that they have a standing contract that they offer to all people who put their stuff on the iOS, and they don't allow renegotiations of the contract. This is how they make it an equal and fair, equal and fair platform for everybody. Unfortunately, 30% is not equal and fair to everybody. And saying 30% of the posted amount that you agree upon on the contract is not equal and fair, because that means that you have to re-sign a new contract every time you want to readjust your stuff. So
wow, so they put in their contract that there's no renegotiating.
Basically, yeah, because I should have assumed, because I worked for Apple
when I was in college for a summer. In fact, it was the summer of the iPhone. And it was when the iPhone first came out. And it was working for Apple was very interesting experience because when I got hired, I was what they call concierge. So I wasn't a genius bar. I wasn't a salesman. I was literally, my job was to be at the front of the store, greet people, and direct them to either a salesman or if they were there for a repair, get them checked in for their genius bar appointment. And when I got hired, I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement that was quite lengthy and detailed. And we were given extremely limited information, but what information we were given, we were threatened within an inch of our livelihoods, not to share. And it's very secretive, you know what I mean? And the way that they don't release, which there's a lot of benefits to them being that way, right? That's why it's been very difficult for Macs to get viruses and stuff like that. I think that's changed a little bit now because enough time has passed. But my point is that they're a very, when it's so funny watching that 1984 commercial coming out in 1984, because when they released the iPhone, they officially took the fuck over. 1984 began, I feel like, when the smartphone became a thing, right? Because now no one is without one for the most part. Even people in, lower socioeconomic statuses, that's become a basic necessity, right? Because it's not just a phone anymore, right? It's our banking app, it's our navigation, it's our, and so I'm not surprised to hear that this is how they've approached their contracts, because they already have, I won't say a total monopoly on the phone market, but I would say probably a solid 50 to 60%.
It's higher. Actually, the same company who's doing that email service that they were trying to compete with Gmail, they did a running algorithm to see who's using their stuff from what from what platform. 80% is Apple.
Yep.
80%.
And so
you take that into consideration. So Apple says, I 30% no matter what. Are you going to turn your back on 80% of the market?
Yeah. So they've created a situation which I fully believe they planned this shit. They knew what was going to happen. Steve Jobs all the way down to the freaking janitors. You know what I mean? They knew they were about to corner the market. And that's why it's so funny that Apple and Google stopped getting along, because one of Google's top, I don't remember if he was an executive or what, but he was a board member for Apple. And so he had inside info about the release of the iPhone and was instrumental in the release of the Android phone within 6 months of the iPhone's release. And that caused this huge falling out. And then, because the original iPhone, if anybody remembers, Google Maps was the default map app.
Yes.
On iPhones.
Isn't it still?
No, it's Apple Maps.
It's Apple Maps. Apple came out with their own maps after this falling out. It was actually, I think, the first edition of the iPhone was the only one that had, the first or second editions are the only ones that had the Google Maps as the default map app. Now, Google Maps app in the App Store that you can choose to use, but Apple came out with their own maps. So, and I bring all up to say that, like, Apple has fought to keep their corner of the market very strongly. And now they're the only, you have to go through them if you want 80% of the population to have access to your app.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm curious about is how they're circumventing. Like, Microsoft was forced to split up because of their monopoly. That was when Windows and Microsoft, the computer and the software became separate companies, and it's like, how is this gotten to this point? And I feel like Epic may not be the Robin Hood or the knight in shining armor that, in reality, but I think they are kind of trying to bring this situation to light.
The enemy of my enemy.
I can't fault them for that.
Well, and here's the thing: is it's funny how you brought up Microsoft, is because there have been antitrust lawsuits made by not only a bunch of small companies and Epic, but now Microsoft and Google are going against Apple a bit because Apple has some other words. Apple has verified that they will not allow Stadia and the xCloud streaming services to be on their platform because you have to make purchases through the Stadia and or xCloud to play the games or certain games, and or have a subscription to their services, but they're not putting the subscriptions or the purchases on the app. So Apple said no.
So
you can't play it on. So 80% of the market, myself included, who's an Xbox guy, because I use Apple, I use iPhone and iPad because I enjoyed when they first came out the fact that they talk to each other, and now I've used them for so many years I don't want to change. I got used to it.
Yep.
And I have a lot of stuff.
All part of the plan.
I still like my MacBook. That's the only thing I like.
So I, as a person who pays for gold for Xbox, am not going to be able to enjoy the xCloud streaming services on my phone because I have an Apple phone, which is bullshit. And Sam Sweeney brings out is that Apple has outlawed the metaverse. The principle they state, taken literally, would roll out all cross-platform ecosystems and games with user-created modes, not just xCloud, Stadia, and GeForce Now, but also Fortnite, Minecraft, and Roblox, which has now happened. And that was when they first announced it, and Apple verified that with their own statement saying, yes, we're not going to allow these things on our software or on our hardware.
Leroy, I'll take a banana phone if they are cheaper than Apple.
I don't want a banana phone.
So, like, I really think you're right. They have cornered the market in such a way that if you're a company and you want to make any sort of money, especially a smaller company, you're fucked. You got to go through Apple.
And I'm so curious because, the app that I reference as being one of my first, game addictions, even though it was a mobile game. When I tell you I probably spent over $1,000 in that game over the course of a year, I absolutely did. But all of it was done through the app, in the app. But it still goes through iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I still get an iTunes bill for all those packs or whatever that I bought.
Yep,
So
that means out of the $1,000, $300 of it went to Apple.
So, but how is that different from what they were trying to do? How did they circumvent iTunes with their in-app purchases?
I'm sorry, I'm not a programmer. I have no fucking
Because
clue.
they are evil
Nerdy,
masterminds.
you're supposed to know everything.
No.
It's in your name.
If I had to guess, I guess if you make a purchase through an Apple app, it goes through a certain link, and that goes to their stuff. And I guess they just circumvented the link and went straight to their.
Yeah, they futabaed it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, either way, yes, Epic broke terms of service. Yes, Epic did a bad thing. Yes, Epic was still making 10% more than they were making before because they were only offering a 20% discount. All these things are correct. It doesn't change the fact that Apple is charging 30%, not allowing negotiations, and going after smaller app services who are offering the app for free, expecting 30% of what the original price tag would have been. And that Apple is blocking every single other option on the market to be on their devices. So basically, there's no open market on Apple devices. It's really the definition of a monopoly. You have to use their device. You have to use their software. So you have to pay them. And it's getting to the point where whether or not it's a full monopoly and they own 100%, when you start talking 80% of the market, you got, at least in the U.S., that's monopoly, 100%. You know, and I don't understand why they're not fucking. I mean, is Steve Jobs even still in charge of Apple?
He's dead.
Steve Jobs is dead.
Yeah, I thought he was dead.
I mean, his ghost might still be in charge.
I'm sure.
I mean, well, they actually uploaded his consciousness.
They're keeping his head in a jar, like in Futurama.
Yeah, but well, I'm just surprised that they're not bringing these people. You know, as crazy as I might be to expect this, they're not bringing these people before Congress and saying, y'all got to stop. You got to either at least, you know, relinquish some of your fucking control and allow, you know, negotiations in your contracts, or allow other platforms on your devices to sell, like other storefronts. If they don't do that, I don't see how this isn't a monopoly, and how it's not.
Yeah, this is basically a situation where right now you have to, whatever opinion you have of Epic or whatever, we have to align with them right now to stop this evil overlord from taking over the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like I said, everybody wants to give Epic a bad rap, and this I'm legitimately asking why. And I know Cos will give me a reason.
No, let's not get into that.
But
let's just leave that as a lingering question for people to think about.
Yeah, I just don't understand why everybody gives Epic such a hard time. They're anything and everything they've done, you know, yeah, they made a lot of money on Fortnite and everything. But when it comes to the Epic Game Store and them selling stuff, I don't see how what they have done on the market as any worse or than what other major companies like PlayStation and Xbox have done. And they're offering it at a much lower rate for the developers. I just don't get the hate.
Speaking of Epic, we should remember at the end of the show to take a look at the free games currently.
Absolutely, yes. There was that game that you actually bought that one time and then returned this season. You said it wasn't for you. It's free.
Outward.
Remnant from the Ashes. That's free on Epic right now.
I didn't buy that.
And then, oh no, that was Outward.
It was Outward.
But Remnant the Ashes game is free on Epic, so that's a really good.
So I have a topic that's kind of related to this Apple Epic thing. It's another huge monolith of a company that's slowly buying up all of the market for all entertainment, Disney. So I just got an email. I am a Disney Plus subscriber, and I will go ahead and fess up that I was an immediate subscriber, like the day Disney Plus came out. I was so excited about.
It's okay, Tara. I'm a subscriber.
I was too.
Yeah.
I pretty much did the day for the first
everybody's
day.
been discussing this release of the Mulan movie and how they were going to handle that. Well, I just got an email that said, starting September 4th, if I pay Disney $29.99, I will be able to stream Mulan in perpetuity as long as I'm a Disney Plus subscriber.
I heard about that.
But I don't own the game. The movie. I can't download the movie. It's not like when I purchase, you can purchase, like I own all the Star Wars movies in iTunes. So I can watch it on my Apple TV, blah, blah, blah.
Basically, what they're doing is that you're paying a $30 movie ticket.
Yeah,
So,
that's exactly what they're
In
doing.
your own home.
yeah. Which,
I mean, it's a pay-per-view event.
yeah.
I understand pay-per-view. Like you have that with cable.
Right.
Like you have, you can get your regular cable channels you pay for every month. Like, for example, I have Dish. I pay for that, and then if I want to watch another movie, I go and I say, okay, I want to watch. It's a pay-per-view, and it's $10. $30 is outrageous.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when you go to a movie theater, you pay like, say, $15 for a ticket. Disney's not getting all of that $15.
No.
In this case, they're getting all of the money. So why would they need to up the price so
Yeah.
much?
Agreed.
Wait. Are they getting all the money, or is the purchase being made through the Apple Store?
I don't know.
No, because you can do it
joking.
directly through DisneyPlus.com.
I was joking,
Yeah.
but boy, would that have been funny.
But
if it
yeah,
was.
so it does say you can stream and download for as long as you have Disney Plus. But still, that doesn't $30?
If you leave Disney Plus, then you just don't get the movie you paid for anymore.
Do they retract the download? I'm confused.
Like,
Can they do that?
Again, if they're treating it as like a pay-per-view event, I could possibly see $10.
They're calling it Premier Access. And at first, because they called it that, I was like, oh, here's that next level subscription. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking they're rolling out like
Disney Plus Prime.
right, like a
Disney.
Whatever. I'm paying more and I'll get access to more. No.
Disney
It's
Plus
one-
Just
Plus.
the Mulan movie?
It's just for
Just
Mulan.
one movie.
Just one movie.
So because that's what I was thinking. The way it sounded, it's like okay, so this is going to be like you get it on, when it's supposed to hit theaters, you get it on your Disney.
Yes.
Plus,
Now, here's the thing. If
everybody else has to wait for it to be on Disney.
if they had offered, and I'm totally a sucker. I'm the reason that these companies are millionaires. If they had said, hey, you pay $6.99 a month for our regular service, like Hulu's model, but if you pay X amount of dollars more a month, you'll get access to more content. And that's why I clicked into it, because I was like, oh, what's Premier Access? Is that a new level of subscription?
Yeah.
Depending on what the benefits are, I might be interested. Nope. Just Mulan.
Yeah. See, that's outrageous. Outrageous that they would have spent. They're expecting people to pay for their streaming service.
And
then-
so it says, and I'm sorry, Nerdy, I have to add this. It says stream it first, which means at some point they're going to release it to all us peasant regular subscribers that didn't pay $30.
All these fucking...
So you're really just paying $30 to stream it before the other people.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
What the fuck?
That's exactly.
Which takes the
what
whole
they're doing.
pay-per-view aspect out of it, because it's like pay-per-view doesn't release later for free, right? It stays pay-per-view.
I mean, it does. I mean,
I guess.
If you paid for a pay-per-view movie in 2005, it's probably free now on
No, you're right. I was thinking more like pay-per-view events, like a fight
Like
or
a UFC or something.
Yeah.
Even that eventually is going to be free online somewhere.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Somebody recorded it.
But yeah, I just thought I would throw that out there as just one more way that the billionaires that own shares in these companies are just not making enough money and need to charge $30.
They have to make up for cinemas is due to cinemas being shut, but that's fine. But like Tara said, cause you pay your money to go to a movie theater, and I don't know what it is there for you guys in Europe, but I know the last time I went to the movies, I think I paid like $22. We'll say $20 for a ticket. Okay, obviously, the movie theater is taking some of that, not a lot, and you're paying tax on that. So there's a tax on that also. So you're walking in and Disney, after distributing the actual movies to the fucking theaters and getting everything out there, they're probably only seeing $10. If this were $10 for a pay-per-view event, I'd be like, all right, fair. You know, you get to see it for everybody else. You pay $10. This is fair. $30 is outrageous. And the wording that from what Tara's told us is super misleading in the sense that, oh, you get the movie forever, but only if you're on our platform. Like, and what's the matter if I get the movie forever if eventually it's going to come down to us, you know, other Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's basically you get the movie forever sooner than other people would get it for free or for not extra money.
So this, I just Googled it, just how do movie theaters pay for movies? Like, what's the common arrangement? And on average, the theater and the distributor split the ticket price 50-50. I don't understand how movie theaters. I mean, I guess that explains the overpriced popcorn, candy, and soda. Because
that's where theaters, for the most part.
Well, they would have to keep the freaking because,
the
movie plays whether there's 2 people in the theater or whether it's packed.
Yep.
You know,
and that's why theaters charge so much for, you know, you're paying $15-$20 for a box of popcorn, and I personally chalk that up as you're paying for the experience. The popcorn's pretty good. The drinks are okay. And you're paying for, when you buy the popcorn, you're paying for the experience of being in the movie theater. And when you go through the front, you're paying for the movie theater being able to get the movie. That's kind of how I look at it. But it doesn't change the fact that, like, you know, $30, Disney taking $30 is outrageous.
Yeah. I mean, I did mention that point, but now that I think about it, I'm not going to defend it and say that they should do it, but I can see why, because like you are paying $30, but it's $30 for basically the entire family to watch it, versus if you were paying a movie ticket, it would be each individual person paying. So
I don't know. Look, or maybe there might be some terms of service thing saying that you're not allowed to show this to anybody else.
Right.
You have to watch it in a closed room by yourself.
They're gonna have a fucking webcam on you. Make sure there's only one person watching.
I can almost guarantee there's something in their contract saying that you can't do mass showings of this.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee it. If you were to get this and Disney found out that you were having 50 people over to watch it in a great big giant room and you're projecting on the side of your house or something for a block party, they would remove your Disney Plus access. I can guarantee there's something in the contract.
Wasn't that one of the pre-screens on DVDs? This is not for
public access or public
distribution or something.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of that stuff going on too, yeah.
But you know, I am surprised, and this topic is pretty well thrashed, but I'm just surprised movie theaters have stayed in business as long as they have, because I stopped going to movie theaters when I was out of high school, really. Like, I'll go once a year for a big, you know, something I'm really excited about, like Harry Potter movies or Avengers or whatever. But, like, I feel like that's been a dying... That's why the movie... What am I saying? The movie restaurant...
Dine-in theaters,
thank you. Have become, you know, such a more prevalent, is because it's easier for them to make money because they're actually really a restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, I see see what you're saying.
And air conditioning, yes, they could probably save a lot of money and not make it so fucking cold in there. Yeah. Just saying.
Me and Obsidian have talked about this quite a bit. We both believe that the pandemic, we will see the death of the movie theater.
I think we're going to see the death of quite a few things.
But we also think that this gives a huge opportunity for the rise again for alternative movie-going options. Like you said, the dine-in theater. I've only been to one dine-in theater once. It was in Florida when I was younger, like 8 or 10, and my uncle took me to one. It was great. It was really cool. You got to eat your dinner while a big movie was playing.
As an adult, it's even better because they serve alcohol.
Okay. But the other great thing that I think is going to come back that's starting to come back now is drive-in theaters.
Yep.
And I think that's a great thing. Because then if you go to a drive-in theater, here's the crazy thing. It's the best thing for a family to go do. You go to a drive-in theater, you pay one price. You pay per car. There's no, there's a discount because you have this child, or, it's this much because you're an adult and then you have a child. You pay for car, you go in, you set up your car, you bring your own snacks, you sit in your car and you have a good time. And nowadays it's probably easier because you can Bluetooth it with your vehicles now and just have it come through your own sound system.
So we had a drive-in theater in Abilene, in my hometown where I went to high school, and they did charge per head, which is why a few of us would usually get in the trunk on the way in.
Really?
Yeah, really. Well, we didn't have money. We were broke.
So it would.
Yep.
It wasn't by car. It was by person.
Yeah.
Oh no,
that doesn't mean they're all like that. I'm just saying that was.
I don't know. I know the ones I'm familiar with. You paid by car. Paid by vehicle. It was a set rate per vehicle. Because it didn't matter if you had 2 people in the in the car, 1 person, or 8 people in the car. You're going to take up the same amount of parking space. So that was their thought process.
Don't tone it back, cause I hate us too.
It's fine.
Us Americans are crazy.
We're toddlers with a nail gun. That's my favorite.
We are. Oh, that's so good. I've never heard it said that way.
Yeah.
But we did event drive-in theaters. That's our thing.
Yeah.
Drive-in theaters are cool.
And baseball?
Drive-in theater is cool.
Right?
America's greatest sport. We also stole the name of a worldwide sport and turned it into something else.
Just easy on the Sturgis. I just got back from Sturgis.
Sturgis? How Sturgis? The motorcycle rally?
Yes.
Oh, did you go?
I did.
How was it? Was people wearing masks and social
fucking
distancing?
Awesome. There was not a lot of mask wearing. But I don't even want to go down this road. It was great. I enjoyed myself. I will say this: majority of the time we spent on the bike, and you can't really be 6 feet from somebody when you're on the back of a motorcycle going fucking 90 miles an hour down the highway through the mountains. So,
well, that's fair. If you're riding on a motorcycle with somebody though, that you're obviously, at least in some sort of relationship with them. They're maybe even in your household. So I would assume that you're going to be within 6 feet of them anyway.
Yes, we have sexual relations. So if we're going to give each other COVID, we're going to give each other COVID.
Real hard.
Just to be clear, I didn't say there weren't any masks. I said there wasn't a lot. But I did notice people wearing masks that were probably in the immunocompromised demographic. So it's like,
outright COVID.
Oh my God, that's the perfect caveat. See, if you were faster and furious enough,
COVID only travels at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well, and COVID comes out at night, which is why all the grocery stores are closing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I'm telling you, were you fast and furious enough to avoid the COVID?
Well, perhaps not, but I have. I do wash my hands.
Start scooting away.
And I was sure to pack my, what is it called? My immune system with me when I went. So.
Your immune system?
My immune system, yeah.
You don't have one of those?
Built-in security system for your body. And it fights off things.
I didn't know mine. I didn't know it was removable.
It's not. But I just wanted to point out that I brought it with me.
Oh. Okay.
Which is why I'm fine.
Nerdy, yours is actually showing right now.
So. Your immune system is showing.
I wasn't going to say anything, but...
But I think that's a good caveat, Sturgis. So Sturgis was a fun time.
It was good. and I'm going to be honest with you, it was so good to be outside in nature, out on the back roads of the Black Hills. Like, it felt normal. It felt like it was okay to, like, enjoy your life and not live in fear.
Well, I do have to ask this: how crowded was Sturgis? I know Sturgis is usually super crowded. How crowded was it this year? Was
There
less people there?
a huge turnout. Number one, this was the 80th annual, so it was kind of a big anniversary year. But I could tell, because we went last year as well, and I could tell a difference, but it was probably way more packed than I expected it to be, just because of how scarce other things have been. But yeah,
I know Cause is a very adamant supporter of the idea of, Americans are doing a horrible job of social distancing and controlling the virus, which I will say is a true fact. I mean, but I don't think that's because of these big events like Sturgis.
But that goes into the discussion if COVID is even real.
So, but here's the thing. There was hand sanitizer everywhere.
Okay, that's good.
There was fucking... how do I want to say this? There was a awareness of germs, of cleanliness, of hand washing, of, the fact that, like, people be safe or whatever. But it's like, how long do we have to live in fear?
Well, and this is something I've said in the past. There's a difference between fear and tempered caution. Like, you can still enjoy life, and do things while still being cautious. Should we be having people over the age of 60 running around in Sturgis? No, they should stay home. Should we have people who have asthma and other pre-existing conditions running around in a big group in Sturgis? Absolutely. They should stay home and not go. However, for the normal, typical, healthy individual, going to Sturgis and practicing, good hygiene, hand washing, trying to maintain a relatively appropriate distance from each other, because let me tell you what, the 6 foot thing is just a guess. It's a standard guess. And I say that as a nurse, because you know what? Yeah, when you're talking normally, 6 feet's gonna be just fine. If somebody sneezes, coughs, or burps, yeah, you're getting it all over you no matter what.
Right.
Distance is random.
Yeah. So people just need to understand that, it's okay to go out and do this stuff. The problem in America, and this is where I'll agree with Cause in this aspect, is that we have politicized our response to the coronavirus.
That's the shit that I don't fucking get, man.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
I can't believe how political wearing a mask has become. It's fucking stupid.
It's dumb. Like wearing a mask shouldn't have any standing on what you are politically. Just wear the damn mask. It's not going to hurt you. And I don't understand why and we're getting into the deep down, and I don't want to get too far into this, but there's one thing I don't understand is why the politicians, well, I guess I understand because they want to be political, but I don't understand why if people say that, it's my freedom, like Cosmo says, okay, then take it out of their hands. And don't try to enforce every single individual into it, because you're not going to win that way. Why not just make it a new health code requirement? Okay? Stores, every single business on the face of in America, but I would say probably on the face of the planet, has to have some sort of health code requirements in order to operate. You know, IA, if you work in a restaurant, all employees have to wash their hands after they leave the bathroom. You have to wear some sort of air covering or something like that.
Oh my god, which word was held?
Bitch.
Karen. I'm sure it was Karen.
Is it Karen?
I'm sure it was Karen. I know it's bitch.
Okay.
It was bitch.
So here's my thing, and I just want to. You said, what's stopping me right now? Does it have to be Sturgis? Well, first of all, we ride all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, it doesn't have to be Sturgis. But two things in response to that. One, Sturgis makes the people of Sturgis, the bartenders, the vendors, the community of a rally, and if you've never been to a motorcycle rally, there is a lot of people that make their living on these rallies, and then the communities that host these rallies are dependent on that income for their full year.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a conscious,
Well, it's
decision to not, and it's like, and then second of all, there has been a huge spike in mental health issues that since the quarantining and the social distancing started. And I can tell you personally, because the group that I was with is part of a nonprofit effort to build camaraderie for veterans through the motorcycle community, that like this is bigger than just a big party. It's an economic thing. It's a community thing. Like there's more than just one angle.
No, Cosmo, you're not being mean, because that's a fair point. America doesn't have good health care or mental health care. We have awful mental health care, and Americans have adapted this stigma that if you receive mental health care, then you're crazy.
Or if you even talk about it.
And I also think that there is not just one type of healthcare that involves, sitting across from a person and doing talk therapy. I feel like there's lots of ways of protecting your mental health.
Speaking of mental health.
Yeah.
Either way, I think the big thing is that, I think it's good that you went to Sturgis. I think it sounds like that a lot of people made the efforts, I would love to have heard you say, yeah, everybody was wearing masks. But yeah,
But my thing is, if you have a problem with it, just don't go.
Yes. Well, yes and no. I agree with that. That there is the fear of the spreading, but I would think that
Tara?
if you have a problem,
My name is Tara. Sorry.
Yeah, if you have a problem with somebody who's going to Sturgis, then you know that they're going to Sturgis.
Yep.
So just don't hang out with them for 2 weeks when they get back.
Yeah. Well, like for example, I'm not going to go around my grandparents right away.
Yeah.
I'm going to monitor the situation and be, not a dumbass.
And I will say there are people out there who aren't going to do that, who are idiots, and who will go right to work and not tell me they went somewhere. And I get it, I do, but there comes a point where, like you said, Tara, that there are industries who are dependent. Perfect example. It's the end of the summer. I, as a farmer, made nothing this year.
Yep.
I'm a small-time farmer who's dependent on auctions and dependent on personal sales of animals and or products from my bees. Although the bees didn't do well at all this year, so I wouldn't have sold anything. But I also have friends who are in the same market as I am, who literally closed down their hatcheries. They couldn't afford it. They are so dependent on being able to have face-to-face sales and auctions and selling of their animals during the spring and summer that they went under. All it takes is 1 year, because you spend all of this money feeding these animals and maintaining a good lifestyle for them and making sure that you have them healthy so they can breed and they lay eggs and they do everything they're supposed to. And then you have all these animals you've hatched out and you can't get rid of them. So now you're feeding those animals too, and you just can't afford it. People go under. I mean, people are culling. I mean, it's happening to farms all over this. And I preach the agriculture side a lot because I'm part of it. And it pains me to see how people treat the farmer. But you know, you see it all over the place. People are now attacking farms because they're forced to. They were forced to cull their animals. I mean, they're great big giant mass burials for animals that they had to kill like hundreds of them without getting them processed because the processing facilities weren't open, so they couldn't move them and they couldn't afford to feed them anymore.
And then we had a meat shortage.
Yeah, and we did, and prices of beef went up hugely, pork and chicken, and people want to blame the farmers for this when in reality, because of the way the shutdowns happened and the way everything went about and how long we kept it, you have farmers who have lost their life savings, their homes. They had to remortgage their homes because they couldn't afford to keep the farm because they didn't make any money this year.
Yeah.
You know, and it's seen in these places. Like, people want to give Florida a hard time. You know, you're allowing all these parties to happen. If people don't come to Florida for the summer, people will lose their livelihood. And I get it. You know, it's a risk, and people shouldn't be, partying. But you can still go to Florida and go to the beach, and not be around people. You could still go to Florida. Like, for example, my uncle lives in a place called Destin. The Destin beaches are always packed. You drive 5 or 6 miles over the bridge, go to the international seashore, always fucking open with almost nobody there. You know, the problem is everything's become so politicized. People think they're making a statement if they make a huge party, instead of using their brains and saying, hey, let's go on vacation, but let's not be part of the problem. Let's enjoy our vacation and go do things that don't involve being around 10,000 people. Let's not go to the water parks. Let's go to the international seashore instead. Let's go to the restaurant, but let's eat outside instead of inside. There are things you can do, but because people politicized it, they think they're making a stand. And it bugs me. It really does. I'm glad you went to Sturgis, Tara. I know you're a responsible young woman, and I know that you probably did everything you could to be safe as possible. And when you come home, you're not going to infect anybody except AD because sitting right next to him.
The official Kiss Anime has been... What? What are we talking about?
Sorry, I went on a rant, didn't I? I'm sorry. So
Moving on.
Let's talk about
This was
how
not even supposed to be a topic.
Sorry, I had a reaction to that because I've seen a lot of hate.
Yeah.
There is a lot of hate out there, and it's too politicized.
Everybody hates everybody.
And Kaz is right.
The world sucks.
Are the ones doing it worst because we're doing it.
The world is a shit.
I mean, 2020 was already 1984. For the record.
I mean, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the UFOs to land. We have already confirmed them.
They don't fucking want to at this point.
Why? Why would they land here?
Because we're in a weakened state, so they can take over.
Well, they were hovering, like earlier in the year. They were hovering, but then they saw the shit going on. They're like, nah.
Humans are the virus. COVID is the vaccine. It's just eliminating enough of the virus. So maybe the planet has another 6 months to a year in its life.
As long as we get Cyberpunk before it ends.
You know what we already got was Fast and Furious.
Let's talk about Fast
Speaking
and Furious.
of the game of the century.
Oh my goodness, here it comes.
10 out of 10 would not play
I hopped
again.
in and watched you guys for a while, obviously. And I will tell you right now, how did you do it? I'm gonna ask you, how did you do it?
When it got later into the night and we kind of lost viewership, it kind of got dull because it was just kind of everything stopped being. There was still some stupid stuff that you could like be entertained with, but it just got frustrating because it was so bad.
Yeah,
Right.
and they did this thing where I noticed that they were trying to make it hard, so it was like a challenge. So I guess that made them feel legitimate. But they ended up just making it bad. Like
all of the driving is just too fast and furious. It
Yeah, I
is
noticed you kept
fast
having to
and
they
pump the
should
damn
have
brakes.
called it.
it is fast and furious up to 11.
Yeah, well, like the fast part ends up making you furious because
But it's so furiously
Yeah.
fast.
because like there's basically it's built so that the first attempt you make at anything you're going to fail because they don't properly.
So, okay, I'm gonna give a tiny bit of blame to myself for playing on an ultra wide screen. Okay, because the fucking HUD is so fucking busy that when I'm driving and focus on the middle of the screen and trying to, drive as safe-ishly as possible,
Mhm.
you got all the shit popping up on your HUD, like messages on the extreme lefts and rights. When you're on an ultra wide screen, I can't notice that shit. So like they're telling me to do shit that I'm missing, and I'm getting frustrated because I don't know what to do. So that's part of the problem. But the other part of the problem is that they're expecting you to focus on driving
Way too much.
while being able to read instructions and see all of these button prompts pop up on the screen.
Plus, there's constant dialogue in the background.
And while you're driving your car has a weapon that you have to aim, but you can't aim it separate from the car. So if you want to aim to the left, you have to turn your car to the
you
left.
have to position the car like there's no turn radius on your harpoon, by the way, which was the weapon of choice because this is Moby Dick. You had to that was like, so you had to slow down, right? If you wanted to.
And it's not even as simple as just aiming and shooting the harpoon real quick. You have to mash the freaking
Oh, that's
button.
right. You align it so that you're on target.
Shoot the harpoon and then
it's
mash the button to
mash
freaking
it to
pull
level
it.
up. Yeah, like it was.
Or you do the hacking thing, and it's like a little QTE thing that you have to watch for while also watching the road.
Yeah,
And
it's bizarre.
And then they have constant conversations during the driving, and somehow you're supposed to be able to hear or listen to what everyone is saying while you're focused on driving.
Are added to that screen noise, if you will, of all the shit that's going on.
It is the busiest fucking screen you will ever see in a video game.
And it was like none of these. I just feel like they were trying to make it complex and difficult, and really they just made it ass.
Like I would be less overwhelmed by all the shit on a screen if I was playing an MMO versus this fucking game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which,
Wait,
we went into this knowing what a great game it was going to be, right?
But didn't they have that one, the one mission where they didn't give you the HUD? Where you drove around for 35 minutes and got caught like 3 times?
Yeah.
Find the fucking marker.
Oh,
God.
that was fun.
Yeah.
So that was like this weird moment of open world.
It wasn't open world.
It
was one box.
It was a sandbox, right? But
Literal.
that was incongruous with the rest of the game.
Literal sandbox.
Right? Like there was no other sandboxes.
And graphically, it is so fucking lazy because the character models, they're just not up to standards.
I feel like they spent 1,000 hours on.
Who made the game, by the way?
Huh?
Who made the game, by the way?
Slight.
I was just wondering if they're a larger studio.
I was gonna say slightly stupid, but that's a band.
Be appropriate for this game.
Well,
slightly
I feel
mad.
Like
slightly mad. Maybe
they spent 1,000 hours on Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez,
and they didn't even do them well.
And
Okay,
then
it-
they
it was
just
slightly Mad Studios, but the publisher is Bandai Namco, so they've got money.
yeah, they spent
Yeah.
maybe 30 minutes on everybody else's character models. Like
Actually, the probably the best looking character was Tyrese.
that's
As far as looking as close to the real
that's
person.
accurate.
But
Very
no,
important
They
character.
put in all of this work for like these tiny facial details. Like you could see the little stubble on everybody's face, and their fucking pores on their face. But the actual character model itself is just so subpar. It's like PS3 era shit. I mean, the cars look great.
The cars did not look great. No.
Well,
The
we
cars
went
looked
into like the
fucking
car model
horrible.
shit afterwards, but
Those cars looked horrible. Did you watch any of my Need for Speed stuff? Those cars looked good.
well, okay, fine. The cars look good, not great. Compared to the character models, the cars looked okay.
Okay, that's okay. Well, if you're comparing, if you're comparing like a
No.
overcooked steak to a turd, I guess the steak's
Yeah.
okay.
But like fucking, yeah, it was just so lazy because that part. Yeah, I think it was probably around that part that you were watching. When you're supposed to have like you're driving on like the side of a mountain or whatever, and
Mhm.
there's just rocks constantly falling.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even make the effort to make it look like the rocks are coming from somewhere. You can literally see them spawning out of the sky and just falling on you.
You should have played this game when we did fucking mystery science game.
Yeah, this
We totally still could because there's plenty
You-
of
you missed the beginning of the stream though because the game crashed in the first 5 minutes.
yeah.
Did it really?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I had just finished the prologue and then the ending cutscene froze, so I had to replay the prologue. And then there was a part where like the audio was out of sync. It's
I
just
saw the audio out of sync.
Yeah.
That was bad. That was bad. Well, I clipped a couple clips where like the one person she was supposed to jump onto the side of the train, and it was like,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, are you jumping? Are you jumping? And your car kind of goes out of the scene,
Yeah.
stuck in the cutscene, and all of a sudden you see her go.
her car the car disappears and she just shoots over to
You don't ever
the spot.
control the characters outside of a car, right?
No.
my goodness.
Yeah, there is no like walking.
Did you beat
Right.
the game? How
Yeah.
long is it?
It was like we finished in like 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours, yeah.
4 hours.
And that was 4 hours with me fucking up a lot. So if you know
And
what
us pausing to laugh.
Yeah.
How much
Because
did it
there was
cost?
a few of those.
it originally at $60, but I got it on discount for $50.
So it's a $60 game for 4 hours.
It's probably the multiplayer that it's trying to sell. But
Yeah,
I'm not,
there's all this shit that you can unlock if you play it online.
you can play online apparently, and you can, it's basically like car battling online.
Why would you? Why?
Because you can have because we looked at the cars that you could select, and they all had their own built-in weapons and shit. So I don't fucking know.
Why would you want to do? If they want to make a Demolition Derby game, I'm all for that because that'd be kind of cool. But that's just the way that game. No,
The end. Oh my god! It's the game tries to be a little bit of every other racing game. It's like shitty Burnout, shitty Need for Speed, shitty Gran Turismo, whatever. Because like there's all those elements, there's the freaking demolition stuff of Burnout, and then there's like if you drive recklessly, the cops will just randomly start chasing you, but it's just all stupid and poorly done.
that's
It's
just
just-
$60 for that.
Yeah.
That's just
And
that's
it wasn't even a well built out story.
I was gonna say, was the story like
For a
was it
fucking
on-
movie franchise that's gone 8 movies long and is about to do another one, and is probably going to go to 10 movies. They couldn't even tell a decent story because like
well, they
everything
really
was
tell decent stories in the movies now.
yeah, but everything was just so they just fast forwarded through everything. Like, some guy dies and it's supposed to be like, you know, this tragic moment because, you know, it was like
The Rock was not in it, and I was upset about that.
they mentioned Hobbs one time. They said Hobbs. They said the name. But, you know, the guy dies, and, you know, his girlfriend, who you're playing as, you know, she's like the main protagonist or whatever. Her boyfriend dies. And there's, like, no type of aftermath of that. It just kind of jumps onto the next action scene.
Oh, yeah. And then they come up with a plan, right, to get cars, mob them, and then pull off a heist.
Yeah.
And they skip all of the preparation, and you literally go right into the heist with the modded cars.
Well,
and
so there's a scene where they talk about the plan, like, you know, we need to steal these cars and then mod them and do all this shit. So it jumps immediately to you inside of the car that you just stole. There's no mission to actually steal the car.
You didn't even get to steal the car.
You're just in the car that you stole, and then you escape, and then it cuts to the next scene where you're doing the heist. You didn't mod the car or anything. You didn't do any kind of mission to, like, you know, get parts or whatever. You're just instantly doing the heist.
So we played this game so that we could complain.
Sorry.
Just to clarify.
You complain that they didn't make you play more of that. Well, yes.
Yes.
Because it could have been better if I actually had more variety in my missions instead of just driving.
All right. Well, I've just looked up the critic scores for this. The Gamer. This is funny. The Gamer gave the game an 8 out of 10.
Fuck off.
Okay. Don't worry. Game Informer gave it a 5. Xbox Club gave it a 2 out of 5. I'm sorry. Game Informer 5 out of 10. Xbox gave it a 2 out of 5. Push Square, I don't know who they are, gave it a 3 out of 10. Metro gave it a 2 out of 10. Eurogamer just said avoid it.
Avoid it.
5 is generous, man.
Let me see if I can't find the Metacritic.
There's nothing enjoyable about this unless you just enjoy. I mean, unless you enjoyed it in the way that we did, and because it was so bad that you just had to laugh.
Yeah, I think the opening, the prologue, if you will, ends with the classic Dom one-liner.
Uh-huh.
You want to play with fire? Let's turn up the heat.
Uh-huh.
Seriously.
And I would have even been down for, like, a lot more of that. Like, let's just camp it up, you know? Like, let's just let it be what it is. But it just tried too hard, I think, to be serious.
Yeah.
That's why I think Metacritic is hilarious. So the Metascore is a 37. The user score is a 21. But then if you scroll down to these things, and it's like user score 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, then a 0 out of 10, 0 out of 10, then 10 out of 10. It's like you guys do know there's numbers in between those, right?
No.
See,
all or nothing.
This is why online reviews are so fucking stupid, because you have people who hate a game and then people who want to counter that, so they're like, "Oh, I'm going to give it a 10 even though it wasn't a 10. I just don't like the fact that this other person hates it."
I also
It's
think
fucking
there's
stupid.
a lot of fake reviews. There's, like, bot reviews.
Yeah, that's what the 10 out of 10 reviews are all bot reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just...
Or, you know, it's Vin Diesel and all of his hundreds of accounts that he created just to reveal it.
I just can't believe you played it. And I'm watching some videos online about it. Man, the videos, like, of the game that they showed for, like, you know, trailers and stuff, cars look so much better.
So here's the thing, Kaz.
The cars did not look like this in the game that you guys were playing.
When it comes with up to Fast and the Furious, I don't care about their bot reviews. When it comes to abominations like a certain Naughty Dog game I won't mention that erroneously achieved a positive rating that it did not deserve, that's when I get upset about bots.
On Metacritic for that specific monstrosity is?
Wait, what?
What'd you say?
Would you like to know what the score on Metacritic for that specific monstrosity is?
It
Yeah.
used to be high, but what is it?
It is a 94 Metascore.
Oh, it's still high. Okay.
A 5.6 user score.
Of course. Yeah. It's a 94 meta score because they are
Paid
promoting the game.
reviewers. I think that's what it is. It's a 94 because they either pay the reviewers or reviewers who do this for a livelihood are afraid to say anything negative or they'll be blacklisted. But the user score is 5.6, so that says something.
Well, this is what I have to say to Naughty Dog. I didn't actually say it. I just
You thought about
remembered
it?
he can't see me.
We would get banned for the things you'd like to say, huh?
Fuck off. Not
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
all
bite
right.
my thumb at thee.
So overall, before we get too far away from Fast and Furious, what's your score for it? Out of 10?
I think 2 is good.
2?
2 is good.
So it barely works?
It doesn't even work. It's. I mean, at least. You know, with that other Naughty Dog game, the gameplay as a game, as a video game, it still works well.
So if you're a brainless, emotionless
Yeah.
robot,
It's still.
you could still enjoy the
It
game.
still plays decently. It's technically it works because everything is well built and graphically it's beautiful.
Wait, are we
There's-
talking about Fast and Furious or Naughty Dog?
No, the Naughty Dog thing. Like they're
Oh,
at least
I was asking what your score for Fast and Furious would be.
No, he
No.
did. That's
Yeah.
He was just saying.
I'm saying like at least with the Naughty Dog thing, there were parts of it that are enjoyable if you don't focus on the shit that should matter.
like if you didn't play the first game,
Yeah.
you might
Okay.
enjoy the second.
But
Okay.
this game just doesn't work because there's nothing fun about driving while focusing on 50 other things.
I mean, isn't that what they tell you not to do when you're driving in real life? Like, don't text and drive?
No, you don't text and drive, but you can harpoon and drive.
Yeah.
You can
hack and
you
drive.
can hack and drive.
But don't forget about your side swiping. Because, you can't use a gun to shoot out.
Every fucking car has a built-in side swipe. Even the fucking random ass van that you were just using as a decoy had a built-in side swipe. All the cops have side swipe built into their car.
Yes, I can futaba and drive. The record.
Futaba?
It's a Persona person.
What's a futaba?
It's a Persona person.
She's an awesome, amazing, wonderful character in the Persona 5 game.
Hey, you know what the secret weapon against a tank is? It's just spikes.
Oh yeah, that was funny. We were being chased by a tank, and their bright idea was to throw out spikes for a tank.
Tire spikes or wheel spikes or whatever.
Yeah.
No,
'Cause,
but yeah, Letty's,
those tank
Letty's
tracks will deflate.
Letty's like, I wish we had, brought guns or a flamethrower or something, and Dom's like, I got something better. Spikes.
Is that really what he said?
He didn't say spikes, but he did say I got something better.
Oh my god. That's great. That's great. I'm glad you played that game for us.
2.
So I never
2 out
had
of
to
10.
experience it.
2.1. 1.9?
Yes, Leroy, in like 6 years when she's legal.
Wait, 6?
So yeah,
Isn't she like 14?
Just 14, yeah. So 4 years.
Oh yeah, 4. My bad. I'm bad at math. It's fine.
So yeah, no. Yeah, I'm just glad you played the game, and we.
She's
never
15,
have to
yeah.
see it again.
Protagonist is 16.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, who's 15? Futaba.
We're still talking about Futaba.
Persona stuff. By the way, Leroy, we're gonna do that big moment today after the show.
So I was going to ask you guys, how much farther do you guys have to go on Persona?
I don't know, maybe like 50 hours.
Serious? Okay, I was going to ask you, what are you going to play now that Fast and Furious was only 4 hours? But I guess I don't.
I actually, I mean, that's one reason why I was kind of hoping it would be a longer game, because I was expecting a fun, stupid stream for at least a few days. But I mean, shit, we gotta find something.
The show has to be wrapped up by what time, Nerdy? Because you have somewhere to be.
In about 20 minutes.
Say we have to get wrapped up here.
Leroy, you better go to the store right meow.
I think we're about done anyway. So
let's talk about our last few things we talk about, video game releases coming next week.
Next week. What's next week? I don't even know what's coming out in August.
I know on Tuesday, which affects me big time, Pathfinder is coming to console, Pathfinder Kickmaker. And I will be starting my Pathfinder run. I'll be playing on PC because I'm not buying it again. Although I wouldn't have a problem buying it again because it's an amazing game. But I'll be running my Pathfinder run on PC starting on Tuesday.
Wait, why would you buy it again if you already have it on PC? Isn't that like the best option?
It is the best. Well, it gets a port to Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
I have it on PC because I like it and I bought it. So, but anyway, for those who don't have a gaming PC, it's an opportunity for them to check it out. So if you guys are interested in that game and know what the game's about, I'll be streaming it starting on Tuesday.
I'm actually interested, but I don't know anything about it, so I'm going to look it up.
Wait, why are you interested?
Pathfinder's, like I said before, it's D&D. Pathfinder, the original
that's why.
game.
That's why you were. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pathfinder, the original game, was written when D&D went to 4th edition, and everybody hated it. So the people who really enjoyed D&D 3rd edition said, we're going to write our own game system, and it's going to be based off of D&D, and they did, and they made it, and it was awesome. And then Owlcat Studios said, we want to make this into a game, and they did, and they basically copy and pasted all of the rules from the Pathfinder books like this thick. A rule book, and they said all those rules and put it in there and created their own scenario and made Pathfinder the game in video game form. And it did very poorly on release because it was a buggy mess because they're a brand new studio. But they worked with the community and made it an amazingly awesome game. Put out a couple of DLCs, made it really good. And because of that, they did a Kickstarter. And
this is hitting a lot of the points for a Terra game. It's story rich.
Yes.
I can customize my character.
Absolutely.
I can focus on companions.
Yes.
I can kingdom build.
Yes.
And I have the option for turn-based combat.
Yes.
Or
turn-based combat is optional?
Or real-time with pause.
Oh.
Yes.
So that hits a lot of my high points.
Yeah, the original game was put out as real-time of pause, just like the original Baldur's Gate games and Icewind Dale games. They recently put in turn-based. I don't know if the turn-based came to PC. If it did, I'll try it out. But I know it came to console because Pathfinder is such a deep and crazy game. There's a lot of options that you have to click through. And I think they added pause because with the controller, that might take a minute or two to figure out. So I think that's a good thing. But either way, that comes out. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Tara, you should check it out if you've never really delved into D&D stuff.
I mean, I understand the concept, and
it's nerdy stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested.
Bunch of stupid nerds.
Who knows? Maybe I'll buy the game and spend all my time customizing characters and never actually play.
The crazy thing is, Tara, a lot of players who play the tabletop Pathfinder, that's like one of their favorite pastimes to do is to create a character.
So yeah, that's actually why I reference it, because I have a lot of friends that I never got into D&D, but you know, as we've gotten older and they've shared their pastimes of playing it as kids with their friends or their neighbor kids or whatever, is that they would spend hours building their characters and their storyline or whatever. And then that would be the entire evening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun thing to do.
I am still gonna, at some point, I still want to try out Final Fantasy, but Tara's not getting into an MMO.
I want to play it too. I want to play Final Fantasy, but finding the time to do it's going to be hard.
Mass multiplayer.
Oh yeah,
online.
I've done some research.
WoW.
I saw some gameplay. Watched Drewy play it. The game looks great.
Based on my experience with my app game that I spent all that money on, I don't think I'm willing to go MMO.
Plus, she doesn't have a PC to play on.
Plus, I don't have a PC to play on.
But I will say that.
And don't even get into the fact that it's on console, because she's not doing that either.
Yeah. Anyway, to continue, what else comes out this week is we have. I lost my point. Where is my point? What did I say? I said Pathfinder. We have Mortal Shell, which is that new Dark Souls-like. That Souls-like that's coming out. That comes out on the 18th.
Oh yeah.
Rogue Legacy 2, I have no idea what that is. That comes out the 18th. Battletoads comes out on the 20th AD. Are we checking that out?
Battletoads?
AD knows what I'm talking about.
Like frogs?
No toads.
You don't know what Battletoads are, Tara?
Battletoads are the attempt at recreating Ninja Turtles, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There were a lot of those,
But a
Street
toad
Sharks
is
and
definitely a frog.
yeah.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
But Battletoads were. There was their attempt, but they were so. How do I put it? Cheeky. And just
Cheeky's good.
blatant kind of ripoff of
Yeah,
Ninja
it
Turtles,
was-
but in a. It's like a parody. They were like almost like a parody. Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles, but they were so
it was
cheeky and
like a
blatant.
self-aware ripoff.
Yes,
pretty much.
but they were so good at it. You know how something is so good at something like that, it becomes awesome, and they
Yeah,
create
it
their
became
own-
kind of like a cult following type of
Yeah.
thing.
and they created their own their own character in a sense. That's a great classic game. Well, they're remaking it or making a new one.
What is that going to be on? Is it on Game Pass or?
It's on Xbox One and PC, so I'm assuming it'll be on Game Pass.
Oh,
I would
PC.
do it.
Yeah, let's do it on PC then.
We might have to buy it if we buy it. Do it on PC.
Damn it,
Yeah,
Unless
but
you have- unless you have the
wait, what
Game
are we
Pass
talking
one.
about?
I don't have Game Pass currently.
Which game are you talking about?
Battletoads.
Battletoads.
Oh.
Let me just look. I don't even know if it's on Steam. Well, I'll look at that up later. I'll let you guys know. Other games coming out: Grief Helm, Pastel Blind Karma.
Oh, there was Friendly Fire. I forgot about that.
So Saturday.
Was that an
22nd.
option though, or was that always active? Can't remember.
Aokana Four Rhythms Across the Blue. That has to be a Japanese game.
Oh, you know what else I just remembered that was awesome? Battletoads and Double Dragon.
Ooh. Yeah.
That was an awesome game.
Let's see. New Super Lucky's Tale PGA. Oh, PGA Tour 2K21 comes out on August 21st.
What 2K21?
PGA.
Oh, I thought you said BJ.
No. Game. That would be an interesting game.
I would be good at that game.
Who
But yeah, the golf one comes
PGA?
out, and then that's it for next week that I know of, unless you have anything else coming out. AD.
No, I keep forgetting about Mortal Shell though. That might have to be something. The next thing I check out.
Well, the next thing coming out next week is Battletoads, and then after that, the month is kind of dead. You got things like Surgeon Simulator, and
Who cares?
got
The month
Matt.
already got Fast and Furious. It's over.
You can't top that.
It's over.
whatever. I'm still waiting for Wasteland 3. We need to finish DOS 2.
Wasteland 3 is going to be shit compared to Fast and Furious.
I mean, well, you can't compare a good game to a godlike game. I mean, come
Yeah.
on, it's not fair.
I mean, is Vin Diesel in Wasteland?
He might be.
Fine.
Did you say that Pathfinder was coming out on console?
Yes. Comes out on console on the 28th. It was originally out on PC, and they took about a year to actually, or a year and a half. 2 years
Tara has a potential
get it
new
ported
addiction.
over to console. So PS4 and Xbox One on August 18th.
Why are you pushing this drug on her right now?
She was asking. I told her.
You're enabling.
It's true.
I'm enabling. I am enabling. But
So
yeah,
I
that's the
can't
video
just
game.
buy it digitally. I have to buy the fucking disc.
Besides
Slide
it
Final
of-
Fantasy 14 across the table. The first one's free for Tara. Where's my first But anyway, that's all the game releases that I have. Do we have any other little news stories we would cover before we close out the show, AD?
I think that's it. I thought we talked about other stuff in the pre-show, but it was little stuff. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's curious, the only other couple things we talked about is Ubisoft fired their Assassin's Creed Valhalla's former creative director. They have a bunch of investigations going on, misconduct with their people, kind of like the Relic Games type things going on. Only difference is Ubisoft is actually firing people. And Marvel Avengers, if you're looking forward to that game, that's a game you're looking forward to,
Yeah.
AD. Well, hope you like buying a whole bunch of console or Verizon exclusive stuff. Like, they literally have Verizon themed outfits for your Avengers. If you do
Why?
that.
Why would I want to wear Verizon stuff as a Avenger? Why?
I wouldn't.
Why?
I would not.
And also Spider-Man will only be on PS4.
PS4 or PlayStation in general?
Well, PlayStation.
Oh, you mean Spider-Man in this Avengers game is only available
Yes.
on PS4? Okay.
Yes. That's what.
Well, that's good because I'm AD is only on PS4.
Oh, speaking of which, I wanted to cover this real quick because I wanted to let you know about this. So did you buy Control on
PS4.
PS4?
Yeah.
Did you think that maybe you would be able to play Control on the PS5?
Did I think I would be able to?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really think about it much
Well,
after.
you know how a lot of games companies are saying, hey, if you buy it on the previous generation, you can play it on the new generation. We'll give it to you for free, right?
Oh yeah. Are they trying to resell it on PS5?
No. If you want to play Control on the PS5 and you buy it for the PS4, you have to buy their Ultimate Edition. But only the people who bought the Ultimate Edition can play it on the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were a peasant and just bought the regular edition, you don't get to play it on the PS5.
Yeah. So if you were the general public and bought the normal edition.
Yep.
Okay.
That's how they're doing it.
It's not even fucking worth it. The game is just very okay.
I really want to play it. It looks good, and now the
Holy
DLCs,
shit, dog!
I was looking into buying it because I was like, I kind of want to try it. It looks like fun. It looks like an interesting story, and with the DLCs and the Ultimate Edition, I was like, cool. And that's how I stumbled upon this whole controversy that the people who bought the game and all the DLCs separately, they don't get to play those on the new console. If they want to, they have to buy the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, I mean it's worth playing if you are interested. It's just once I was done with it, I was done with it because it's not something. It wasn't worth doing all of the extra content for me. It got pretty dull.
That's fair. But I just wanted to put that out. So if there's anybody out there looking into Control like I was, know they're doing that scummy thing. So that might affect whether or not you want to buy the game or not. But if you do ultimately decide to buy the game and you think you might buy the new PlayStation, you might want to play it on there, or any new console for that matter. Make sure you get the Ultimate Edition. That way you're going to be able to play it on your new console.
Wait, how much are we talking about with this Ultimate Edition?
Say again?
How much are we talking about for the Ultimate?
I think it's 60.
Wait, it's 60?
I want to say it's 60.
Isn't the base game 60? Well, no, I got the base game.
The base game's going down in price a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll look it up later and I'll let you know. But I think it's still scummy practice.
FF14 is the Ultimate Addiction. That's kind of why I'm been hesitant about it.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of how I've been too, because I don't have the time to play it. But
yeah.
All right, that's over that. That's all the stuff I had to cover. That were the small things. But yeah, ready to close out the show because I ain't got nothing else. Unless chat, do you guys have anything other than Final Fantasy 14 is the Ultimate Addiction?
We'll give it 10 seconds.
We'll give it.
In the meantime, I'll just say thank you guys for hanging out. That's our show, and remember to say no to drugs.
Yep. Smile and wave, boys.
Smile and wave.